Good morning. My name is Sarita Gross from the Garrison Transformation Office. This first slide that I have basically just outlines the BRAC building occupancy schedule as it is currently. As you can see, with C4ISR Phase 1, people are already moved into the buildings, they're working, they're enjoying things. If you look at C4ISR Phase 2, this month people are going to start moving into some of those facilities. There's about 2,500 seats that's going to be available. If you look down at the ARL VTD, that's the Army Research Lab Vehicle Technology Directorate, people are going to start moving into that building in May of 2011. Also in the Edgewood area, we have the Joint Program Executive Office for Chem Bio Defense, and people are going to start moving there in August of 2011, and that's about 350 seats. Here in the Aberdeen area with the Army Test Evaluation Command headquarters building, people are going to start moving there August 2011, and that's about 600 seats. Next slide, please. This is a great news story here. Basically, this reflects a successful collaboration between state, local, and government and APG officials. If you notice, on effective this Monday, March 14th, the train schedule for the MARC train system that comes through the Edgewood and Aberdeen train stations are going to make it viable for APG employees to work an 8-hour day. That was the issue before. The train would come a little late, so it wasn't really possible for people to be here on post for 8 hours and make it home during the day. Also, if you notice this side box here that says additional trains, Monday through Friday, that's just to show you that, you know, whether you're going south for a conference or you're heading north from Baltimore, you know, to be seen and to see and be seen in our metropolitan mecca of Bel Air. Hey, don't discount Wegmans. They have an influence. There are other trains available. So it's not just these trains here. But just to show you how things have changed, if you notice, departing Washington at 6:15, if you were leaving, you could arrive in Aberdeen at 6:42 a.m. And then you have various options for leaving in the afternoon. I mean, you could leave on the Amtrak at 5:19 and be back in Washington by 6:30 p.m. If you notice that with Amtrak 85, we have that in parentheses because that 6:30 p.m. train isn't actually on the MARC train schedule, but that train is available through Amtrak. And many times they do cross honoring as far as the fares, so you don't have to pay additional fares to ride that train. Also, I'm sorry, if you notice at the bottom here too, if you would like a complete pin line schedule, and that's the line that comes through the Aberdeen and Edgewood areas, you can go to the website at the bottom, the MTA website. You can Google it. Also, I have schedules in the back. Next slide, please. There was a question on, you know, if I ride the train up, how am I going to get to work? So the Garrison is in the process of establishing a shuttle bus that's going to go from the Edgewood area and the Aberdeen area train stations on post. Basically, it's open to DA civilians and military members, and it's going to be free of charge, but we do ask that you fill out this form to let us know how large of a vehicle that we should have and what stops would be convenient for everyone. Next slide, please. There's also a question of, well, you know, this whole commuting is nice. You know, I'm going to get out of my car. Of course, everybody's noticed gas is pretty expensive. But what are my options as far as cost? How much is this going to cost? Fortunately, if you're a DA civilian or if you're a military member, there's actually a subsidy available. And the highlights here are it's up to $230 a month. So unfortunately, if your commute is around $150, you're not going to be able to pocket the additional money, but it will be up to $230 a month. As I said before, it's available to DoD civilians and military service members. And it does include buses, trains, and van pooling. Unfortunately, it doesn't include carpooling, but I mean, that's still a viable option. If, you know, it's still better to at least ride with someone than to have to spend the gas and the wear and tear on your car yourself. For more information, you can visit this website here, or you could contact the Transformation Office at 410-278-0915, and we can provide you with that information. That's all I have pending any questions. Yes, ma'am. Oh, I think a mic is coming for you.
I was just wondering if there's any consideration for Cecil County. There, I see everything here and south.
Unfortunately, as far as the train situation, not much has changed in the way of the train schedule. But a good option is van pools. As I said before, van pools are included in the subsidy. And currently, if you would visit, you could Google commuter connections. And that's a good way that we're using to link people up for van pools. And a van pool will be considered 5 or more people. You guys will go together to actually rent the van, and there's several companies that can take care of that for you. And then you basically give the leader of the van pool your vouchers, and then you guys can maybe take turns. It's all on how you want to set up the van pool. But currently, there's about 13 van pools that's coming from various areas across the, from New Jersey, from Northern Virginia. There's several coming out of Delaware. Any other questions? Thank you. I will be followed by Captain Malika McCormick.
Good morning and happy St. Patrick's Day. I decided to wear my green this morning. And again, I have a great Irish last name as well. And you've seen this slide once before, but it's time to save the dates as we lock in and get ready for our Armed Forces celebration. We have exciting things coming this year, and as you see, we're starting off that week with our golf tournament. Advertisement has already gone out. You'll see some of those posted outside if you're physically present here, but you can also find them in our FMWRC newsletter as well as in our APG news. Continue on with that week. We're going to have our Veterans Luncheon that Tuesday, and that's going to be an invite and RSVP event. Wednesday, we are really excited to bring you our Armed Forces Day Observe celebration. As you see, we have a whole host of events happening that particular day, and we're expecting a large participation from our school systems, from Hartford, Cecil, as well as Baltimore County. That Thursday, we're going to have our Military Appreciation Day, which gives us a chance to honor our NCO, Soldier, and Family of the Year, and that's going to be hosted at Richland Ballroom. That Saturday morning, we're going to have our Armed Forces 10K run, and that again has started to be publicized in our FMWC newsletter, as well as it's going to be coming in our APG news. You can also find flyers in the back. And that evening, many people have talked about it, and you've heard about our lighthouse being relit this year. My dynamic dual, who is also a leprechaun today, Miss Terry Kaltenbacher, is going to be giving you some information on that. But Hartford County Economic Development, the Army Alliance, and the Hartford County Chamber of Commerce will be doing a boat cruise in conjunction that evening, and those ticket sales are going out to the public starting on the 2nd of April. You'll hear more information about that. Pending your questions, I will turn it over to my dynamic dual, Terry Kaltenbacher.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Terry Kaltenbacher from the Garrison Cultural Resources Office. Before I get into the relighting, I'd like to go back a little bit and give you an abbreviated history of Pools Island and the lighthouse for those of you who are not aware of the rich history associated with it. Pools Island is located at the mouth of the Bush and Gunpowder Rivers. The history dates back to prehistoric times when Native Americans traversed the area. It was first mapped and documented by Captain John Smith in 1608. The island also played a role in the Revolutionary War and the War of 1812. So it is the home, obviously, of our Pools Island Lighthouse, the oldest standing lighthouse in Maryland, built in 1825 by local architect John Donahue. He constructed it out of granite that was locally quarried in Port Deposit. Although our lighthouse is not accessible to the public, we do have a twin lighthouse located in Havre de Grace, the Concord Point Lighthouse, which is open to the public and tours during the summer months. The Army purchased the island as part of the installation in 1917, and the lighthouse eventually was decommissioned in 1939 by the Bureau of Lighthouses, which eventually became the Coast Guard. Fast forward to the mid-90s when APG undertook a major rehab project to restore the lighthouse in cooperation with members of the community, installation help, as well as the U.S. Coast Guard, who got involved with that. And we'll fast forward again to right now, 2011, where we have the exciting relighting event planned after 72 years of darkness. So it's a big historic event for us here and for the community as well as the state of Maryland. We plan to relight the lighthouse and make the lighthouse a symbol for our team APG. All the diverse organizations that are coming together, it's a way to unify all of us and the community. The symbolic relighting will also serve to kick off 2 upcoming centennial celebrations. We have the War of 1812 bicentennial celebration, and we're going to cooperate and plan with Havre de Grace on that and the Friends of Concord Point Lighthouse. We also have our big APG centennial coming up right around the corner in 2017, so lots on the horizon. The actual relighting ceremony, as Captain McCormick said, will happen during Armed Forces Week on Saturday evening, the 21st of May, aboard the Harford County-sponsored dinner cruise, the Spirit of Baltimore, out of the Inner Harbor. So if you want more specific information about the actual cruise, how to purchase tickets, you can contact the Harford County Chamber of Commerce. And I see some familiar faces from the community. I hope that all of you will consider joining us to celebrate this wonderful historic event with us. Are there any questions? Thank you. I'll turn it back to John Kearney.